Welcome to our Waste Less this holiday season with ecomaine. My name is Kelly Greenlee, and I am the Community Engagement and Outreach Librarian at Prince Memorial Library, and I'm happy to be here. This is kind of exciting for me because I have so many questions. I have so many questions that I need the answer to. So I'm looking forward to this, and I will introduce Katrina now. Katrina is the environmental educator at ecomaine. She joined the team in 2016 with a decade of experience in various environmental educator roles across the country. She's responsible for designing curricula, on-site tour programs, as well as other education and outreach programming that facilitates engaged waste reduction among residents, schools, and businesses in ecomaine's 70+ member communities. Katrina holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in conservation biology and a certificate in environmental studies from University of Wisconsin at Madison. And in short, she inspires students and adults alike to attain their waste diversion and contamination reduction goals. That's quite an ambitious statement. Thanks for joining us, Katrina. I'll pass it to you.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you could join us. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll start our program. And I absolutely welcome questions. If you either want to put them in the chat and Kelly can check them out, or we can do questions at the end, whatever folks might think is easiest. The first little part of the program, I'm going to talk about trash and recycling and waste and in general. And the second half of the program is really focused on sustainable holidays and everything that we can do to really try and attain that. So let's get off and running. First up, you might know exactly who ecomaine is, or you might have really a very little clue, but we are where your trash and recycling goes in the Cumberland area. We have Cumberland, Falmouth, Yarmouth, Freeport, Pownell. We don't have Durham, but we have really kind of everyone in your general area up there. And we actually have 70 communities now. I really went through this program with a fine-tooth comb when I was creating it, and that was the one thing I missed. So we have 70 communities here in Maine. And we own our own recycling center, our own waste to energy power plant, and our own Asheville. I'm doing another program, I believe, in February that will be really detailed on trash and recycling. So I hope you join me for that. But wanted to share a little bit about, what can we do on an everyday level, not just around the holidays, to be more sustainable. And that is that you and I always make trash. But you and I always make kind of organic material, like the tops of our carrots, the inside of the bell pepper, the lettuce that went bad in your fridge, the eggshells, the banana peels, things that you just don't eat. We make organic material, we make recyclables, which I'll show you on another slide. And then also we make, we have useful items that we use every day that eventually we say, well, I don't need this anymore. So can we give things away? First, the useful items. Can you buy a no buy group? I'm personally part of one on Facebook, and I love it. I've given things away. I've gotten things. It's free. It's like karma coming around and around and around. It's beautiful. There's, of course, Goodwill, Salvation Army. If it's something of value, do you want to sell it? Just as long as that thing doesn't end up in the trash can. If someone else can use it, please try and get someone else to use it. Recyclables, of course, paper, plastic, metal, glass, and cardboard. I'll show you a slide of what we take in just a minute. And then organics. And I'm actually going to tell you where those can go if you don't have a subscription to someone picking it up. Maybe we don't want to do that. We don't have the money for it. Maybe we don't have, the will to have that in our kitchen. I'm going to show you 10 locations that you can drop off for free. And then, of course, we all make actual trash. That's fine. Everything from granola bar wrappers to gum to dog poo in those bags to, maybe we have diapers, maybe we have chip bags. We're going to make legitimate trash, and that's fine. But can we put everything else in a different bin? Put the organics in a compost bin, the recyclables in a recycling bin, and get those useful items out of the trash. Big help would be great. Because it's waste hierarchy, the state of Maine has adopted this, and of course ecomaine follows this really well, is we want to try and reduce reuse, recycle, and compost before stuff goes in the trash. And your trash comes to us at the waste to energy facility. And then that ash that's left over, because we burn your trash from 100% trash to 10% ash left over. And again, I'll go over all this in the February program, or there's some really fun YouTube videos. If you're super curious and want to watch them tonight, you can search ecomaine virtual on YouTube. But we take your trash, we burn it down to ash, and that ash goes to the landfill. So if we want to be sustainable in everyday life, we need to try and reduce our use of materials and then reuse everything we can and then recycle everything possible. Not everything is recyclable, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of things are. Try and compost as much as you can before we throw things away, because it has been estimated that up to 90% of what we throw away as trash every day could have been reused, recycled, or composted. So really try and focus on, what can I reduce, reuse, recycle, and compost. Just some examples. I'm sure you all are very good at taking your own bags to the grocery store, perhaps, or bringing your own water bottle, or bringing your own coffee mug, or your lunch and reusable containers, or even using a straw. Even one of these things is wonderful, but if you can do all of them, that's even better. And then going a step further, and when you go to the grocery store, really try your best not to buy things already wrapped in plastic. I've seen pictures on the internet, I haven't seen in person yet, but an orange that's been peeled in a plastic container. It's oranges already come in their own container, right? It's called a peel. So, making sure that we're making good buying choices and really kind of voting with our dollar of what we should use, and be more sustainable that way. And of course, a nice array of all the different types of things you could use here, everything from bamboo scrubbers to reusable paper towels to bringing your own containers for, say, apples, like these mesh containers, to reusable cutlery, more sustainable kind of combs and brushes made out of bamboo instead of plastic, your reusable mugs, reusable lunchbox things, all those kind of great things are wonderful. Even instead of buying bags of tea, get what do they call those, diffusers, or a reusable tea container. Just one slide about recycling here of what we do want. We would love your recycling. We need your recycling. We want your recycling, but it's got to be the right stuff. So all those boxes you might be getting from your online shopping, definitely break those down and put them in the recycling bin. I say break them down. That's really important, because the truck that picks up your trash or your recycling can only hold so much. So if you and all your neighbors don't break down the boxes, the truck's going to have to come to ecomaine more often, and then it's going to take longer to pick up all the recycling, which means more fossil fuels are used. So it really does add up. You might think, oh, well, I don't feel like breaking down my boxes, but it really does kind of cause a chain reaction of things to pile up and more fossil fuels to be used and all those things. So if you can, please break down those boxes. We take all your paper, so everything from your old Christmas cards to your old wrapping paper when you're done with it. The only rule is if you can rip it, we can take it. I guess maybe one more rule is if it's covered in glitter, please don't put it in the recycling bin. So 2 rules of the holidays: if you can rip it, put it in, and if it's covered in glitter, we just don't want it. Glitter is just one of those things that just is not the best thing for recycling. But again, all your paper otherwise, we love paper. Your metals are great. So maybe you roast chicken or a turkey or a ham in a, one kind of those non-reusable containers, like what they call disposable or single-use metal container pan. Those can be put in the recycling. Just maybe, give it a quick scrub. Nothing that you give us has to be pristine clean, and that goes for all year round. So nothing you give us has to be super duper clean, but it does need to be kind of free of most of its stuff. We don't want, say, your moldy spaghetti sauce jar with an inch of spaghetti sauce still in there. Say your peanut butter jar, try and get a spatula, a spoon, or a knife and get out as much as you're able to, and then that's acceptable. So again, empty but not clean. So all those metals, whether you have whipped cream cans, those are recyclable. Cranberry sauce cans, those are recyclable. All these aluminum foil, steel, tin, etc., are great to recycle. Same goes with your glass. We want glass containers here. We don't want things like maybe your glass your crystal glass was on the countertop and it knocked on the floor and you swept it up and you put it in a recycling bin. We don't want broken glass because we understand that glass gets broken when sometimes you put it in the bin, or sometimes it goes in the truck, or sometimes even it falls on the floor, things break. But what we're trying to avoid is everybody giving us broken glass and then that kind of going everywhere in the facility. So no broken glass. We'd love your containers though. Everything from vanilla, from cooking to jam, to jellies, to soy sauce, to spaghetti sauce, you name it. If it's a glass container, we want it. And the last thing is plastics. And this is where people get really confused because they think, oh, well, I got a toy and the plastic was connected to the cardboard and I recycled the cardboard. Can I also recycle that plastic? Unfortunately, the answer is no, because that plastic piece is not truly a container. It's not considered a container by the people who buy our material, and all they want is containers. And it also doesn't have a recycling number or symbol on it. So if it is indeed a recyclable item, it's going to be a container. It's going to have a number or symbol on it. And I'm going to go back to that in a second. And it's what we call rigid. And by rigid, I mean, you could squeeze it if you wanted to, but you couldn't really crush it in your hand. And the difference between, say, a milk jug that you could squeeze, or a raspberry container, which you could squeeze, and a chip bag, right? It's totally different. So rigidity means it's got a shape to it. It would hold that shape if I dropped it on the floor, like, say, a raspberry container. So these are our rules of thumb. Folks get really confused when it comes to plastic, but we can take everything from your shampoo bottle to your laundry detergent bottle to your raspberry containers, your salad containers, your milk jugs. All those plastics are wonderful to recycle. We'll go back one slide here. We really do want you to recycle right for the holidays, and we've got a naughty and nice list. The ones that we don't want, the things that we don't want in your recycling include bows and ribbons, wrapping paper that doesn't rip, no Christmas tree lights, no foil or really anything caked in food residue, and no plastic cutlery. So the cutlery and the wrapping paper that doesn't rip is definitely trash. Try and save your bows, ribbon, and wrapping paper for next year. I personally haven't bought wrapping paper probably ever in my life because I save from one year to the next, or I get, comics that are my in-laws get the paper, and so I steal their comics and I wrap our presents in, old say paper shopping bags that I have gleaned from other people, and then I can even paint that with either nail polish and let that dry, or nice acrylic paint and make it festive. But anyway, just try and reuse things. And on the nice list, we'll definitely take your wrapping paper that rips. Holiday cards are great. We want those pans and foil with a little food residue is totally fine, but again, not super caked in it. We love cardboard, gift boxes, even gift bags, but again, try and save those if you can. And cookie tins, if you can reuse them, great. If you can't, they're all banged up, they're rusty, whatever the issue, you can definitely put those in the recycling bin. And a fun fact is that ecomaine gets up to 10% more trash in the recycling bin during the holidays. And I did steal this last line from another website, but it's enough to turn any recycling sorter into a Grinch. So we definitely want your recycling, but we really need it to be the right recycling. Some plastics that we just don't want include things like anything, again, that's really squishy, no bubble wrap, so you can reuse that, or I'll tell you where to take that next. No styrofoam, so maybe you got something in the mail that had styrofoam peanuts or something in there. Luckily, that's really kind of getting out of style for folks to use that. They're more like biodegradable that you could put, say, in your bathtub or outside, and if it gets rained on, they'll go away. So that's really great. But the actual styrofoam peanuts, those are trash. So in our facility, when we get that kind of flimsy plastic stuff that gets stuck in our stars, and again, I will cover this when we do the recycling trash program in February, but you could, if you wanted to, you could take a lot of that plastic to stores like Hannaford, Shaw's, Target, Walmart, Lowe's, Kohl's, Market Basket, etc. And again, it's things like your produce bags, maybe bags that you got from, I don't know, Gap or LL Bean, or even Amazon has the white and blue packing bags that are all plastic, those are great to recycle there. Case wrap, if you get a case of, I don't know, Gatorade or water, if you get dry cleaning, those bags around there, bread bags, newspaper bags, more packing material, Ziploc bags, and then the wrapping around your toilet paper and paper towels. You know, if you have more family in town, you might use more toilet paper, which means you'll have more wrapping. So all of this can go to all these stores up top, but plasticfilmrecycling.org is the website where you can type in your zip code no matter where you are, whether you're Portland, Cumberland, Bangor, you know, wherever you are, you can type in your zip code and find out where to bring these bags. And then that will go off to make Trex decking, Trex furniture, and Trex railing. So it's incredible that they can take this resource that ecomaine cannot and will not take in the recycling bin. You can drop it off at the grocery store next time you go shopping anyway. You know, don't go on another trip to the grocery store just to drop these off. Just bring them next time you need milk and bacon and whatever else you get. And then it goes off to be efficiently made into a very, very sustainable, very reusable product that is Trex decking. So fun stuff there. Again, humans play a really important role in our facility, and we need to keep the trash out of the recycling bin. Was there a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask if we could pause for questions.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Bonnie.
so my question is, I often receive those inflated plastic bags,
Yeah.
like that cushion
Yeah.
product that's been shipped to me. What
Yeah.
do I do with those?
You have a couple choices. One, if you happen to like Allagash beer, they love those and they will take them back and you get a punch card. And when you get 6 punches, you get $10 off of whatever beer you want.
Okay, so do I pop them, or
No,
they want that?
They want the
the air
material.
with the
Yeah,
air in them. Okay.
Another option is if you just want to pop them,
Oh.
really fun stress reliever, and then you can put them in a bag with other bags and dry cleaning material bags and bread bags and the bubble wrap and everything, and then bring that to the grocery store. So you can pop them to the grocery store.
And where do I go in the grocery store? Like if I took it back to Hannaford, I go to customer service?
No, so there's going to be every store is different. So the location of the bin is different depending on the store, but every bin is typically you go in the store. If there's 2 entrances, it's only going to be at 1 entrance. So you can probably go in the store and look to your left or your right, and it might be there. Or if there's like a cafe area, I've seen it in there. Yeah, so it really depends. And if you can't find it, you can ask customer service. Not every single person in the store knows about this program, however. So don't ask, I don't know, the teenage bagger, just because they might not be up on all the things that are going on in the store. So I've had people say, oh, well, I asked someone and they didn't know. I was like, unfortunately, not everyone knows. So it's a great program. It is happening. If it's on the plasticfilmrecycling.org website, the place does have a bin.
Okay.
Yeah, great question.
So I have a question.
Please.
My sister tells me, and she's considered the recycling expert of my family. She tells me that on a can, an aluminum can, that you shouldn't remove the top all the way, that the top of the can gets jammed, so that you should leave it partially on when you open the can. Is that true or not? And feel free to discount my sister.
Where does she live, first off?
Rhode Island.
Okay, so unfortunately, every place is different. So Rhode Island has different rules than we do, but it's not a bad idea to leave it on a little bit and then fold it in and then just recycle the whole thing. If you happen to remove the top, you could always put it inside and then kind of squeeze it or step on it. If you completely take it off, there is a chance that that small metal will fall through the cracks and be swept up as trash. The good news is that those cans are actually made of steel or tin. When your steel or tin comes into the trash, once we burn it up, we remove that metal with a giant magnet, and then that goes off to be recycled. Okay. So that's kind of the silver lining of steel or tin items in the trash. Nothing else is pulled out if you put it in the trash can. But again, if you happen to leave it connected, that's great. Or if you just put it inside and squeeze it closed, also great.
So, one more question.
Sure.
Is there any place like before the pandemic I could take my styrofoam peanuts? So I still do get some companies that ship with that. It's so
Mhm.
frustrating.
Yeah.
I could take them to like the UPS store and they would reuse them.
Yep.
But with the pandemic, they're not doing that anymore. Is there any other, short of putting it in the trash, any other option for me?
Yeah, no, that's a real bummer that they stopped doing that. And there's not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could, if you are part of a buy nothing group or neighborhood group or something, you could say, hey friends, I've got a bag of styrofoam packing peanuts. If you're needing to ship something, you know, it's possible that someone out there could use them. So
Okay.
that's why buy nothing groups are really wonderful. Good for now?
Yep.
All right, let's keep going. So I get asked a lot, and again, I'll cover this again in the program in February, but I get asked a lot, where does our recycling go? So it goes all over the place. A lot of it stays in the country, and one thing goes out of the country, and that's paper. We want to try and recycle as much as we can so that things can turn into new things. So there's a playground on Willard Beach in South Portland that's made out of recyclables, toys, mats, shirts, water bottles, bicycles, even wonderful toilet paper. I love this. Get your paper made out of your toilet paper made out of paper, so we stop cutting down trees to make toilet paper, which makes no sense. And even, you know, bags for the grocery store or takeout. So remember, great gift ideas, circular economy. When you buy items that are made out of recyclable things, that is really, really great for recycling. Because if nobody was buying anything made from recyclable material, then recycling wouldn't really work, would it? So try and buy recycled material if you can. A couple slides here on food, because I know we'll all have leftovers this holiday season. So, you know, when you're cooking with your family or alone, try and make sure that you are collecting all that material and putting it in a compost bin, whether it's picked up at your house or you drop off at the food waste sites that I'm going to show you on the next two slides. Or maybe you are super ambitious and wonderful and you can do backyard composting or something even more fun called vermicomposting. Vermicomposting is composting with worms that you do in bins inside your house. It could be in your basement, in your closet, under your sink. My boyfriend in college did it, and it was really cool because it's a way to get the food out of your trash can. If you don't put food in your trash, you're going to take it out less. It's going to be less heavy. It's going to smell less. So it's really a win-win-win, because we don't want that food, because what we take to that, what we do that with that food in the trash is we burn it. That's not sustainable. That's not productive. It's not a great use of food. So if you happen to live or work in South Portland or Portland, here's 5 drop-off sites in South Portland. I'll show you Portland next. So maybe you travel to Portland or South Portland, you could collect it in a countertop bin or even a bowl in the freezer or whatever you wanted to do, and pop it in these bins. They look like this at all the sites. There's one at the golf course, one at the transfer station, one at South Portland High School. There's an upper parking lot. There's a planning and development office, and then even behind City Hall. So those are the South Portland locations. And then there's Portland locations. These smiley faces are very approximate, because South Portland had a nice map on their website, but Portland didn't, so I had to create this map. So just go off the addresses, but there's the North Street Community Garden, there's Boyd Street Garden, there's Clark Street Community Garden, there's Libbytown Community Garden, and then there's Riverside Recycling. So again, these 10 drop-off locations are free for anyone to drop off food waste, and the real goal behind it is to get the food out of the trash can. We want to fill, yeah.
So we compost here at our house, but it's we don't include any like meat or oils or like, so are you saying that these composting drop-off areas would take anything
Yes. Yep.
food related?
Meat, bones, dairy, fats, oils, greases, cheeses, anything you don't want to put in your backyard, these bins will accept.
Okay.
Yeah, even paper towels and napkins, paper plates, items like that are great to compost at these bins.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, sounds like you'll get some more out of your compost bins then.
Yeah, and it's free. I don't have to pay for it.
Correct. It's free. You drive up, you drop it off, you drive away. That's it.
Okay.
Yep. just make sure it's the right stuff. You know, they don't want plastic, they don't want metal, they don't want glass, they don't want, you know, big cardboard boxes. You know, they're there for the food and organic type material like napkins, paper towels, paper plates. So as long as you put the good stuff in there, everybody ends up happy.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever you don't reduce, reuse, recycle, or compost ends up here. This is what happens to your trash. So when we're talking about being sustainable now and always, we need to think about, you know, where it goes after we're done with it. And that is here to be burned. And I will cover trash top to bottom in the February program, but this is essentially where your material goes to waste forever. This is our landfill, but we call it an ash fill because it has ash in it. This is, you know, there's lining down at the bottom. The ash is dumped off and then squished down with a bulldozer. This is what it looks like from farther away. It's pretty peaceful there. It's really nice. But again, there's trash everywhere. You know, this is where it all goes. So we want, of course, want you to try and reduce, reuse, recycle, and compost. And we've definitely got some work to do because the EPA did a study in 2018, and it looked at how much material was in trash and how much of it was recyclable and compostable. And even reusable potentially. With textiles, there's a really great company called Apparel Impact. They are a company that here in Maine, and they will, they'll recycle your textiles. So say Goodwill won't take it or doesn't want it, they will take it. So that's really a great resource. Now, any questions about what we just talked about before we jump into all the holiday goodness?
Can you repeat what the textile company was?
Yes, Apparel Impact.
Thank you.
Of course, and Goodwill does a really
this-
great program where they do make things that are not sellable into rags for, say, car shops and boat yards type things.
Okay.
So if you have, say, a t-shirt or a towel or something that is not really usable, Goodwill can still potentially take that and they can cut it up into rags and use it that way, which is really great.
Okay.
Was there another question?
I have a question.
Please.
I read somewhere recently that a lot of the plastic that we're currently putting into the recycling bin is not actually being recycled. Is that true in our area, or is that something that's common in other areas of the country?
Did you happen to hear that 9% of all plastic is recycled and everything else is trash? Was that
I don't remember the numbers.
Okay. Well, that's one study that's out there, but it's really, really important to remember that that's everything from pens to tampon applicators to the kids, you know, like little pouches, those are not recyclable, to everything from, you know, at the hospital, the IV bags and the catheters. You know, it's literally every piece of plastic on earth. They're not talking about the types of plastic that are recyclable, how much of that is actually recycled. So that's a very, very misleading number, if that was a number you heard. But as far as what you put in the recycling bin actually getting recycled, I can attest and guarantee you that if your recycling is quality, meaning it's actually recyclable, along with most of the other recycling in the truck, it is recycled. But if pretend you and all your neighbors are putting a whole bunch of junk and trash and food and dog poo and diapers in your recycling bin, and you're expecting the other things that you put in there, like the cardboard box next to the diaper, to be recycled, then that's not going to happen. So as long as the recycling is able to be sorted, and by that I mean 25% contamination or less, yes, we can recycle everything. But if that truck comes in and it's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% trash, we tend to push that to the trash building. So that's why it's so important that everybody know what we can and cannot recycle, and nobody say, well, I want to recycle my basketball, I'm going to put it in here. I want these diapers to be recyclable. You know, my dog poo is in a plastic bag. I'm sure they take plastic bags. Yes, I've seen someone do that before. And so as long as you're putting in quality recycling, and as do everybody else, that recycling is getting 100% processed and sent off to somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay. And I have one other quick question.
Yes, please.
When we first started recycling here, we had to separate the various types of materials into separate bags or bins.
Yeah.
But now it all goes into one bin. How do they ever get that all separated?
Well, that's my February program. If you need to know now, again, ecomaine is on YouTube, and you can watch that virtual tour. It's my voice, so you're probably going to get tired of me, but it's fascinating. You'll love it. And we also do in-person tours for adults 18 years and older. Currently, we're doing small groups, due to COVID and all that. But we do give personal tours. So if you really want to come and see it after you watch the virtual tour, I'll be happy to take you on a tour. Just email info@ecomaine.org.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. All right, we ready to dive into the holidays? All right, I'm really excited about this. Short movie and then more of everything else. Howdy, ecomaine here with fun and conservation-themed holiday challenge for you. Challenge 1, bring your own coffee mug to reduce disposable cup use and often a reduction in price. Tip 2, don't go to the grocery store without your own bags, backpacks, or even purse. Tip 3, wrap your presents in comics, fabric, or even save this year's wrapping for next year's presents. 4, buy local for as many folks as possible. With all the talent Maine has, it's really easy. And finally, 5, pack those leftovers in reusable containers for the next meal. Get creative. Try one or all 5 of these challenges for the holidays or any time of year. And thanks for watching. Find more information at ecomaine.org or download our Recyclopedia for answers to about 1,000 items. Oh boy. So I went through those challenges really fast, but on this next slide, I've got it all written out. But that Recyclopedia is a really fun database that we created that you could search now over 1,500 items of what do I do with this? What do I do with that? What do I do with this? What do I do with that? So it's really, really helpful to figure out what you need to do with over 1,500 items that you use every day. It's a free download on your smartphone, or it's just a website at ecomaine.org. And that was our really short version. I've got another version that's 5 minutes long of these tips and tools with more information on YouTube. So you can search ecomaine holiday and that will come up on YouTube. So the holiday challenge, if you wanted to, bring your reusable drinkware, and this could be every day too. It doesn't have to be around the holidays. Reusable bags when you go shopping anywhere, wrap your presents in anything that you can that's not wrapping paper that you buy from the store. Shop locally. Maine is incredible. I actually have to stop myself from buying my family presents because there's just so much incredible talent here in Maine. Everything from oyster shells painted gold that are ornaments to comfortable hats to beautiful cards that, someone hand drew or hand painted. So, incredible. And then of course, use the reusables, get really creative in your leftover recipes. For example, after Thanksgiving, we had a lot of turkey leftover, which I was over the moon about, but I was like, there's only so much turkey you can eat as it is. So we made turkey nachos, which were killer. So, get creative with your leftovers. As far as trees go and decorations, can you decorate a house plant? Can you buy a living tree that can be potted in your yard in the spring? Can you decorate a tree in your yard? Or here's me and my dorky husband. We had a wreath one year when we were going away for Christmas, but we still wanted the Christmas cheer and beauty and the smell. So we put a wreath on our wall and put our favorite ornaments on it. So, we don't always have to cut down a tree. And if we do, can you get it from, say, maybe you have a neighbor who lives out in the country. That's what we did this year. They wanted to clear some land for some farming. So they said, come on over and cut down a tree. So we got one straight from the land, which I loved. And it wasn't on a tree farm. As far as parties and get-togethers go, can you serve food and material on reusable dishware? Yes, it takes a little bit more effort to clean in the dishwasher, but you're saving a lot of material from going to either the landfill or the recycling bin. Really try and avoid using one-time use materials like streamers and balloons. You could use centerpieces like the picture at the bottom. pine or cones or fruit or berries or, you know, what have you. Even some Made in Maine candles would be lovely. You know, maybe choose potted plants. When we have our annual meeting every year, instead of getting fresh cut flowers, we do plants that we put on the tables and then wrap those in comics. And then we put those on the table and then everyone can take one home. And it's just a lovely way to have some greenery and not have, you know, essentially dead flowers. You know, make sure you're planning your party menu to include seasonal and organic and local and or local food, because it would be great to use, you know, what we have growing in Maine or organic for better pesticide usage and all that. So that's really helpful. And then if you can, use LED lights to save electricity. You know, it's a really tiny thing, but if everyone did it, it really would add up. As far as presents, that's what this says here. You know, can you make something yourself from cookies, a scarf, jam? You know, do you whittle a wooden toy? My husband's father, my daughter's Pepe, made a really cute duck that walks when she pushes it. So that was just a really sweet toy. So it was, you know, beautifully handmade and from her grandfather. So, you know, if you have talent, share it. Always try and shop local. There's a really fun store in Maine, in Portland, called Lisa Marie Made in Maine. So if you've never been there, it's wonderful. It's all Maine stuff. But there's tons of stores around like that. You know, can you choose products with minimal packaging and use rechargeable batteries? Maybe you can even regift something useful from your house. I have definitely been proud to do that. I was going to say guilty of doing that, but you know, if there's something that someone else in my house would love, why not give it to them if I don't need it? So it could be anything from a candle you receive to a spice, you know, a jar of spices, to a picture frame that you're not going to use, just literally anything. You know, if you think someone else would enjoy it, definitely give it away. Maybe give something to promote zero waste. One of my favorite gifts I ever got was a really great reusable coffee mug or hot tea mug. And I put all stickers on it of my favorite stickers, and it's beautiful. And I really want to bring it everywhere. I also happen to get bags from places I love. Like, I'm a member of Maine Audubon. I have a Maine Audubon bag. My husband and I took our honeymoon in Vermont. I've got a great bag from the co-op with great memories from there. You know, just fun things like that. It really helps you remember to take your bag somewhere, and then you have a fun memory to look at with that reusable bag. And then finally, you know, can you wrap sustainably with reused comics and saved material and even reclaimed ribbons? I got all my ribbons at Ruth's Reusable Resources. If you've never been there, they have a wonderful for public store, and they have ribbons that you could buy for 25 cents. And it's, you know, like a nice, really long piece of ribbon, and you wrap presents with it. So that's what I've done here. These are all the presents that I've got for my family in either reusable or reused stuff. You could give presents, or you could give experiences. This says 52 clutter-free gifts. I did take this offline, but it was such a wonderful list of things that was a really, really great, even useful for me. You know, my mom said, well, what do you need for Christmas? What do you need for your birthday? Which are pretty close together. And I said, you know, I don't really need much, but she got us a membership to the Children's Museum, which is a wonderful experience every week when we go. So it's not this thing that I have on my shelf somewhere. It's something that I get to go out and do with my family, which I love. So try and gift experiences if that's good for you. There's a fun program called Buoy Local, B-U-O-Y, like a lobster buoy local. They have gift cards to dozens and dozens and dozens of places. And it's one card, and you could use it at Haven's Candies. You could use it at you know, bars. You could use it at clothing stores. You could use it to get a manicure. So it's a really, really cool thing. And it's super, you know, super Maine-y. So Buoy Local is a great way to get people a gift that they can pick. It's like a pick your own adventure. You know, can you make a donation to an organization on behalf of someone, from Wayside Food Pantry to Habitat for Humanity to, you know, Maine Audubon, all kinds of great places. Can you gift your time? You know, dog walking, babysitting, snow shoveling, all incredibly incredibly wonderful gifts. Never underestimate, say, a new parent. They need their dog walked because, they don't have as much time as they used to. So always help that way if that's good for you. And of course, gift your talent. I am useless with computers, but my sister is really good. So when my dad needs help, it's a wonderful gift for her to be able to help my dad figure out what in the world is wrong with his computer. So if you have some sort of talent, share that with friends as well. And let's think about for a minute those $10 jeans that you bought, because we want to think about clothing around the holidays too, because we tend to buy things for our friends, for ourselves. We buy a new outfit. The new year's coming up, we buy all kinds of stuff. So this is a lot to take in. I actually am going to turn this program into a PDF and send it out to Kelly, and then she can share it with everybody, unless I somehow have the email addresses, but I think maybe you do, Kelly. But this is just sharing a little bit about what we call cheap fashion or even fast fashion. You pay $10 for jeans, but that's nowhere near the price that it was to grow the cotton with all the pesticides, all the water that was used, and then collect it and then turn it into cotton thread and then have someone sew it and turn it into, the dyeing process and then the buttons and, there's even the mining of the metal of the buttons and the zipper and all that. So, your $10 jeans or, that $5 scarf that you got, it's really important to think about the quality of what you're buying around the holidays and always, because it's an incredible waste when we use something and it's a cheap product and then we throw it away. It is estimated that 3 years is the average lifetime of a garment today. And I actually think that's really generous. I see a lot of things that are bought that are pretty cheap that, folks might use for months, if not, a year and then throw out. We see an equivalent of 1 garbage truck of textiles wasted every second on the planet. So, places like Apparel Impact are really helpful for that, which is great. But not every place has a textile recycling company like that near them. So really, again, being conscious of what you buy. An incredible amount of chemicals produced worldwide is used for the textile industry, and that causes a lot of health issues. So I know we're really diving deep into the whole, negative side of the world, but, just kind of saying, hey, be on the lookout for being sustainable in all aspects around the holidays and always. And then this is a little bit more on making better environmental choices with your clothing, a little bit easier to read potentially. Buy less, only what you and your family need. Secondhand when possible. Try and get organic or sustainable fibers. Something like linen is more expensive, but it's a lot more environmentally conscious and environmentally friendly as far as the growing practices and how often it's able to be grown and all that, and more than cottons. Look for certifications with these, or look for clothing with these certifications. Like even our car seat that I bought, I made sure it didn't have all those scary toxins because, you're a grown adult, but what about the little kids that you're buying clothing for? You need to try and make sure that that doesn't have scary chemicals on it. Think twice before throwing clothes away. Can you donate, repair, sell, or recycle them via something like Apparel Impact? Always try and wash new clothes before wearing them. I know that sounds weird, but they do have the pesticides sometimes still on them. So you don't want that to get on your skin. And then more than that, try and wash smart. Only do full loads or do a quick wash if you've got that sort of setting. If it's a small one, green detergent, cold water. The detergent they have these days works really, really well in cold water, which is great. And if you want to learn more, all this material is from sustainyourstyle.org. It was a really great website that I found while making this program. And to turn things around for a little more positivity, these are some great reads for a sustainable mindset, everything from kids material to adults. So these are just some fun books I found. And this one is my personal favorite, Just a Dream by Chris Van Allensburg. The first time I read this, I cried. It was so beautiful and so meaningful and just an incredible read. I'm sure we all know the Lorax, But if you've got a little friend who likes crafts, this is really fun. Recycle and remake. If you've got a little inventor in your life, this is really fun. It's like a kind of a workbook that they can create their own little designs. So that's really fun. And then for the adults in the crowd, how to go zero waste, sustainable-ish guide to living, because nobody is perfect. But if everyone was doing things imperfectly and trying to be sustainable, we would be on a really great path. And then back to the idea of the clothing we just talked about. This is a decent read about the shockingly high cost of cheap fashion. So really, that is my program. In summary, we really love it if you could follow the waste hierarchy of reduce, reuse, recycle, and compost everything you can, so we can cut down on the waste we all create. And that goes again around the holidays and beyond. So would love if you have questions now, or if something comes up 5 minutes after we're done, or a year from now, you can always email info@ecomaine.org. We have some great information on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have a YouTube channel, so please check out more videos there. It's super fun. We really worked hard, especially during COVID, to make a lot of content for folks to watch at home and learn that way. And definitely visit ecomaine.org, use the Recyclopedia, and that is my presentation. I would love to hear any thoughts or questions now.
Thank you, Katrina.
Of course.
So I had a question that was sent to me prior to this program from somebody who couldn't make it. She writes, I have many cardboard boxes, and I understand there is a concern to not put them out for trash pickup, but to donate them somewhere else.
I wouldn't say a concern, but that's a really great practice. Again, I mentioned I was on a buy nothing group, and folks say, hey, I just moved. I've got 20 cardboard boxes. Someone always says, yes, I will take them because I'm moving too. So, we want to reuse and therefore reduce the amount of trees we're cutting down to make the cardboard and not recycle them, because they can always be reused. So that's a wonderful way to keep something out of the waste stream, because again, it does take a lot of effort to recycle. It's wonderful. We love it. But, reusing is so great. So absolutely. If you got something like that, give it away. There's Nextdoor. If you're not on a reuse group on Facebook or somewhere, try nextdoor.com. You could join in your area, and you could post stuff. You could look on it and say, oh, look, someone has this, I could really use that. And so it's a great way to connect to people.
And there is one near us for Cumberland and Falmouth for anybody who isn't aware. So if you're a Cumberland or Falmouth resident, you can find that group.
Beautiful.
And probably North Yarmouth too, I'm sure. Anybody have any questions?
I do. Okay, so I'm guilty of ordering a lot of things from LL Bean that come in those green plastic bags.
Mm-hmm.
Are those things that I can recycle at Hannaford?
Hannaford, Shaw's, Walmart, Target. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Yes,
Linda, you're muted, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, okay. The cups that when you get coffee at a place, is it McDonald's, whatever, but it looks like a paper cup on the outside and it's really lined with plastic. Those are not, yeah.
Those are fine to recycle.
Oh, they are?
They are fine to recycle. What town are you in again?
Cumberland.
Yep, they are fine to recycle. Other companies, say Casella up in Lewiston, I don't believe they want those.
Oh,
so if
okay.
you lived in Lewiston, if you lived in any of the Casella towns, Biddeford, something like that, you would have to follow their list. Since you're in Cumberland, you follow our list. The reason we can take them is that we have a buyer who will take them. So whatever we accept, we're at the mercy of the buyers, which means you're at our mercy. Because if we can't take it, they can't take it, then we can't sell something that nobody's going to take. So that would be a really poor business decision if we accepted something that they couldn't take. So long story short, yes, we can accept those cups just fine.
Okay. Well, my husband's the one who'd buy the coffee out, and then I say, take your own mug out, use your own.
Exactly.
So I finally sort of got trained to do that, but I'm glad to know we can recycle those.
Good. I will say that I train myself to bring my own mug every single time, because I would not get a coffee. I would get to the coffee shop and say, you don't have your mug? That's too dang bad. And
Wow.
I would go without. And it does not, I will tell you, it does not take long to train yourself because you want that coffee. So yeah, bringing your own mug is wonderful.
It's training the husband that's the challenge.
Those, I don't know what they're called, like the orange juice
Carton?
the cartons that have the screw cap.
Yep.
Yes or no?
Those are definitely recyclable. If you wanted to take off the top and put it in the trash, fine. If you happen to leave it attached, fine. We don't care. Yes, those are recyclable. The milk,
Oh,
the broth in a
so
box, the wine in a box, the soup in a box, all those are great to recycle.
yay. Okay.
So
Funny.
what was the, if I ever had questions down the road, I
Yeah.
could just go to your website and you have a sort of an inventory of what's recyclable and not?
Yep, I'm actually, I'll show you if you don't mind. So share my screen again. Go to this. Things in my way. All right. ecomaine.org. So just go down to what I put it in. You can either look up the item list if you have a whole bunch of time, or this is at the bottom, but I'll just, click on this instead. You can type in, do you have an example for me?
I don't.
How about orange juice cartons? So this just says juice cartons. So, there's a drop down menu. So if orange juice carton is not in there, juice carton is, and hopefully you would understand that that's the same thing. So you click on it and you say recycle it. Juice cartons are made of plasticized paperboard, which can be placed in the recycling. They are not wax coated. So
Okay.
great.
Super.
So that is how that works. We have a really fun game on here. You can play it yourself, or you can engage the younger crowd. And it's really fun. It's like a drag and drop, where should I put it? So that's really fun. If you know any friends who would like that. And yeah, we have a lot of, and also last thing, sorry, is the A to Z Recyclopedia. So again, this was the one, if you have a lot of time and you just want to browse, we have
Okay.
alphabetized just in case you wanted to see all that stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, the Recyclopedia is what
Cool.
because it's an encyclopedia for our recycling. Unfortunately, we did not make up that name, but we are very proud to use it.
Awesome.
Yeah. More questions?
This was super
I'm going
informative.
to offer that to neighbors across the street who seem to put a lot of stuff out all the time. They get, they are getting constant deliveries and this and that. And I look at the trash they put out and I look at the guys who have to deal with it.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, maybe her daughter would love to fiddle around with that and make a game out of it. I'm trying to be tactful, but
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the guys.
They love to make forks out of boxes. So we have do don't cards for recycling, what we do and don't accept in the recycling bin. There should be some at your town hall. I did just drop a bunch off with I think, Laura Mileski.
I think we have some here at the library too.
Great.
Yeah.
If you need
Yeah.
more, just let me know and I'll drop some off. I love dropping.
The neighbor was just complaining about the guys picking up the other day who they do some kind of recycling thing under their sink and then they put it out and they, but that the guy got so frustrated trying to he finally just put it in the trash. And she called and complained about that. And I said, well, they're doing the best they can do, frankly. And
they are not miracle workers or magicians.
No,
They're
no,
do the best
no,
they
and
can.
they're good guys. I mean, they really are. But they have to put up with a lot of that stuff. So anything like that, you can make a game out of it and help them understand what's recyclable. I think might be a good idea.
Absolutely. And tell them about this program. I think it's going to be on the library website. Is that correct or no, Kelly?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
also send it to me. We can make a YouTube video out of it too, and we can put it on our
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, and that's what we'll do. So maybe we'll do both.
Okay.
Uh,
Wonderful.
and we are having, as you mentioned a few times, I love that you plug our program. So we are having another installment of Katrina coming to tell us all about trash. You're going to talk trash.
Okay.
And that's in February. I want to say February 16th.
Well, I don't know. It's in February. It'll be on the website.
Coming up.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
So definitely join us for that.
Yeah, and that'll be a more comprehensive, not holiday focused presentation. So
Yeah.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Step by step, what happens to your trash and recycling. But if you want to know now, YouTube, search ecomaine virtual.
Great. Thank you.
Excellent.
Well, thanks, friends. If anything comes up, if you have questions, info@ecomaine.org, or even give me a call, 523-3141. I'll be gone next week, so don't call me next week. But other than that, I hope you let us know if you have questions. Check the Recyclopedia. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
Katrina,
you.
this was fabulous. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
All right.
Happy holidays,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Be sustainable.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye.